Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. We have a special guest with us. It's Linsey Fagan. She's running in Texas' 26th district for Congress. She was born in that district. She was raised in that district. She's a single mom, daughter of a union worker, entrepreneur, and activist who lives 3 doors down from her parents and a few blocks from her sister. She's intelligent. She's a fighter. She's scrappy. She doesn't let anything get in her way. Please welcome to the show, Linsey Fagan.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
My pleasure, Linsey. So tell me, I'm told you're a real progressive. What does that mean to you?
I think I'm just really unapologetic in fighting for working class people, making sure that people have a living wage. I'm really passionate about getting Medicare for all implemented and, ending the corporate influence we see now in politics.
So that sounds very much like a Bernie Sanders type of politician. You consider yourself that?
Yeah, I was a delegate for Bernie Sanders in 2016, a state delegate.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
I'm a big fan.
Okay, so now how's the 26th district? That's got to be red district, right? It's in Texas.
Yeah, it's one of the fastest. The county I'm running in is the 5th fastest growing county in the nation, and the demographics are changing, and so I think it's only a matter of time before it's flipped to be represented by a Democrat. It's just a matter of will it be 2018 or will it be 2020, and so we're doing everything we can to make sure that it's 2018.
And so who are you running against?
His name's Michael Burgess. He sponsored the piece of legislation that allows ISP companies to buy and sell our data. So he's definitely probably one of the worst on net neutrality, opponents to net neutrality. So I work in tech, and so he's not a good representative for me at all.
And so how's the Democratic Party been treating you?
Yeah, whenever I got in, I think, and I don't think it's really the fault maybe to anyone, but I think whenever you get in and you're a young female, people inherently just don't take you very seriously. And so we had a lot of issues with that initially. And I wasn't planning a lifetime in politics by any means. So I think people initially thought this girl is not serious. She's running on a whim. And to be honest, I never planned on running. But I think just like a lot of people, I got to the point where I was so concerned with what was happening in the country that I decided to jump into it. So we had a lot of the party didn't really take me seriously at first. And, probably did more than they should have to help some of the men that were running against me. But, I won. So I'm not too mad.
And why do you think you won?
I worked harder than everyone else, and I think I have a message that was really appealing to working class people. I won all of the Republican areas really, really heavily, and I think that that's because I have a message that speaks to disenfranchised voters, even moderate voters and working class people. And I think where people say you have to have your message more moderate to appeal to more moderate voters, but working class voters really like the message of a living wage. They really like thinking that, hey, maybe I could have better healthcare and we could have a better system in place. And so it's so crazy whenever people think that messaging only works for Democratic voters. It works for all voters saying, I want you to make more money and I want you to be healthy. That's a winning message.
Yeah,
anywhere.
That seems like a winning message. Yes. Well, I know.
Yeah.
I know that in historically, whenever the minimum wage is on the ballot, that always helps Democratic candidates, and it always does very well, no matter where it is, even in Missouri, where it helped Claire McCaskill get elected. So So what do you? There's been a lot made about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and she's the only person who's knocked off a sitting Democrat so far. One person. So
Yeah,
there isn't this big wave of progressives taking over the Democratic Party. What do you make of that? Do you think it's going to happen, or I mean, it's not happening? But what do you think?
I think you'll start seeing it. I mean, I think whenever I'm a millennial, and I think millennials are really skeptical of not just Republicans, we're really skeptical of Democrats as well. We can't have Democrats fighting for affordable health care, and then 50% of the Democrats in Congress are taking money from the pharmaceutical industry. It just doesn't really make sense. And I think for millennials, we've only known our adult lives as a country and war. And and also dysfunction as far as us trying to make strides and get ahead, it seems like it's so much harder for us than it has been in the past. And so I think that young people want young leaders, and not just young leaders, but I think ethical leaders. And I think right now what it seems like to me is there are a lot of young people that are running with an ethics first mentality, like people over party 100%. And I think that's the future of politics. So we just got to get young people out to vote.
Well, I think what we're seeing on all across the spectrum in politics, left, right, center, I think what you're seeing is that people want their representatives to actually represent them, and that's not happening. And we know we live in an oligarchy. Even Hillary Clinton's biggest supporters will admit that we live in an oligarchy. So Noam Chomsky says, the bottom line of a democracy is that your representatives actually represent the people. Well, academic study after academic study has shown us that the bottom 80% of the people's views and wishes are never reflected in legislation, right? So, yeah. So that's the problem with the Democratic Party taking corporate money, which is why people don't really see that big of a difference between the parties, which is why we got Donald Trump, I think. What do you say to the Democrats who are now going to vote for Kavanaugh, to the Democrats that went along and helped deregulate Wall Street? And, 139 Democrats just voted for a $708 billion Pentagon budget bill, defense authorization for 2019. They gave Trump more money than he even asked for. So how could you help any of those problems?
Yeah, I think just like anyone else, I look at it and you think like, what are you doing? We think and we continue to keep thinking that the Democrats are the ones that are fighting for the people. And I think that there are a lot of Democrats that are fighting for the people, but I think it's a lot of the new insurgent Democrats from what I see. I think right now what we see is a lot of working class people that you would never expect to run for office, finally getting fed up enough and saying, you know what, my old life is great. I really loved it, but I have to go in here and fix things myself because it sure as hell isn't getting fixed just watching it and screaming at CNN all day. Because I get the same frustration with that military spending bill. I thought the same thing. How can we continue to do this? We spend almost $1 trillion a year on our military, and that could pay for Medicare for all. But what are we doing playing world police, risking the lives of these veterans, and then not taking care of them whenever they come home? I just think that there are so many things that regular, everyday American people see and feel so frustrated and helpless about. And so, I finally got to the point where I said, I'm tired of feeling helpless, and I'm going to do everything I can to not only get myself elected, but as many ethical Democrats as I can.
So how's the fundraising going? You're not taking corporate money. You're a Justice Democrat, which means that's the bottom line. You don't take corporate money. So how is your fundraising going?
Yeah, we're probably at about $140,000, and our average donation size is $12. And so when I got in the race, people said, "There's not a chance in hell you can do this." I got on a call with the consultant that talked to me about, I want to talk to you about fundraising, and so I'm new to this. I got on the phone and he said, I get you set up these fundraisers. I get you meetings with these PACs. And he's like, you can take money from the PACs. You just can't, then you can vote however you want. And I said, listen, it's my number one thing. The people that support me, that's a lot for a lot of them. Even the people that are Trump supporters that support me, those drain the swamp people. There are a lot of people, their number one thing is we have to make this ethical again, because until we do, we're going to continue to see the same thing over and over again. And we're seeing it from both sides. I think, corruption's destroying the country. So
do people, does that resonate, the fact that he sponsored that bill that allowed our private browsing data to be sold to private corporations? Is he paying a price for that vote? Do you think that's why people are supporting you who are consider themselves to be conservatives or Trump voters?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, if you tell them that and you say, listen, I see, and I think a lot of voters will tell me, I might not see eye to eye with you on everything, but I know that you're working to protect me. I know what you're doing is you're doing it for all the right reasons. And so I think that as much as people might disagree with me, they still respect me and they see where I'm coming from. And so I think that is a winning argument. And whenever I tell conservatives about that, there's not anybody. I mean, he got $400,000 from telecom, and he turned around and passed this piece of legislation. Because I remember looking at that bill and thinking, what the hell? Why would anybody sponsor this? And then you follow the money. Yep. And, he doesn't want to work hard. And I think that's a big problem with a lot of these representatives is they don't want to work like I have to work right now. I went to my family reunion. I just got home. I slept 3 hours. I'm up. Now I have to go to this guy's town hall. Like, they don't want to do the things that all of us scrappy, ethical politicians or aspiring politicians have to do right now. And so I think that, they just take the money because they're lazy and they're corrupt.
So you think that's why you have a real shot? You think that people are aware of that, what he did with that legislation? Or do you have to inform people that's what he did?
Oh, yeah, we have to inform people. And then the Republican Party has actually came out. They've come out against him in one of the counties I'm running in here. They actually came out against him for voting for the omnibus bill. But he's not a favorite. The woman that ran against him in his primary in the county I live in, she got 75% of the vote. And then, he dominated in the other county. But I think that the drain the swamp Republicans really have an issue with him. And I think that I'm not going to win all of those people, but I can win some of them. And, I really don't focus on tailoring my message to this group or this group or this group. I really just talk to normal working class families. And turns out those people have a lot of different political views.
And so what? How's it looking? Has there been any polling, or is there any sense of how it's going to go down in general?
Yeah. So Trump just donated to 6 Texas Republicans, and the guy that I'm running against was one of them. He maxed out to 6 of the representatives in Texas, and the guy I'm running against also is seeing like a huge surge in PAC money. So we're thinking that they're seeing some kind of polling or some kind of data that shows them that this district is maybe more winnable than we had thought before. I think whenever you look at the history of the district, and whenever I looked at the history of the district, whenever I ran here, the guy that ran in this seat before me as a Democrat, he's a friend of mine. He's a comedian. He didn't raise money or campaign. He just kind of ran as like, I'll put my name on the ballot and it'll be funny. And then before that, the last midterm, no one ran. And so I've outraised any Democrat that's run here in the last 15 years. And, my message, it works with anyone I talk to. Like, there's no conservative, there's no anyone I talk to that I don't win over. And so I think a lot of people like me for me, regardless of my party affiliation.
Okay, well, Linsey, what is your website? Tell people if people want to volunteer. Are you getting some volunteers helping out, knocking on doors and what have you?
Oh yeah, we have a huge volunteer base. Yeah, linseyfagan.com, linseyfagan.com. And we have people from all over the country writing postcards for the campaign. It worked really well for us in our primary. We sent out about 7,000 of them, and we're sending out about 150,000 for the general. So yeah, because we're crazy and we don't take breaks.
All right. Well, best of luck to you. We always like to see a progressive, no matter where they are. So good luck to you, Linsey, and everybody go to linseyfagan.com. Find out how you can help out. She's running in Texas' 26th district, and that guy needs to go down. That guy needs to go down, man. That really, dude, he should not be able to get away with that. Hey, how is the news covering the race? Are they covering the race at all? The local news?
No, the guy I'm running against, since I've been in the race, he started to do a lot more town halls. And so he has one tonight that I have to go over to. Mm-hmm. And then he's had another one this week. So he gets coverage for that. But, no, I wouldn't say there's no crazy news coverage for either of us. I get a lot of national news coverage just because I'm one of the young, scrappy millennial females running. But yeah, local news coverage, I'll take what I can get. He gets a little bit. He's not really can't be a fun person to cover because he's just very, I don't know. And then he has these town halls and everybody that goes hates him. And I'm like, what are you doing having these? And he makes everyone mad. He tells people like Guam and the Northern Triangle is not his problem. I'm like, you shouldn't have town halls if you're just going to piss everyone off. But whatever.
All right. Well, it's very funny. Listen, best of luck to you, Linsey. Go get him, and we hope to talk to you after your victory.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed. Even if you think you are, you're probably not. It only takes a second to check, and then you have to ring that bell so they send you a notification when we drop a new video. Otherwise, they won't tell you when we drop new videos. And if you like our show, please help support it. Become a patron. We give you hours of bonus material every week, and we give a live stream. We do a live stream every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific time when you could ask us questions and we answer them back. Thanks for your support.